You ever just freeze, not because you're scared, but because you're hearing something so fucking absurd that your brain just lags? Yeah, that was me last week, sitting in my living room barefoot, with a half-eaten burrito in my hand, and my baby daughter asleep on my chest. Then suddenly, boom, my whole relationship just detonated. And not in the dramatic cheating in a hotel room kind of way. No, this was worse, way more surgical. And I didn't even have to snoop. He forgot to mute his mic on Zoom. So here's the backstory real quick. I'm 27. My now ex-fiancé, Ryan's 28. We co-founded a machine learning startup straight out of grad school. Tech couple cliche, I know. But we were good. Raised 2 seed rounds, made the Forbes 30 under 30 list, even got a decent offer from a defense firm, which we declined because we wanted to build something ethical. LOL. What a joke that was. Anyway, we'd been together for nearly 5 years, built the company together, lived together, had a baby last year, not planned, but I wanted her. I needed her even. Ryan freaked out when I told him I was keeping the pregnancy. Said it would slow the company down. I told him to shove it. And for a while, he came around. Or so I thought. He was amazing during the second trimester, bought a bassinet, went to prenatal yoga with me, even set up a damn formula tracking spreadsheet. I honestly believed he'd grown up. Like, sure, we weren't married yet, but he proposed 6 months ago, said he couldn't imagine life without me. I should have known better. Last week. Wednesday night. We were both working late that night. Typical. I'd just put the baby down and was debugging a deployment issue on our dev Slack. I joined our private Zoom to check if Ryan was on. He was, and I saw he was already talking. Thought I'd listen in before popping in. Except he wasn't talking to a dev. He was talking to his dad. And the call was still live. No mute. No filters. Just raw, ugly truth. We just need to get through the Series C announcement, and then I'll phase her out, Ryan said, like he was talking about a stale intern. I blinked. Paused the burrito mid-bite. My stomach started doing backflips. You're not planning to marry her, right? His dad asked. God, no. Ryan laughed. She was good PR while we raised. Female founder. Mom. Investors ate it up. But she's not scalable, Dad. Scalable. Like I was some fucking API integration. He went on. Said he'd already met with a corporate attorney to figure out how to minimize my equity post-marriage. Told his dad I was emotionally volatile and probably couldn't prove intellectual contribution beyond front-end work. By the way, I wrote the core anomaly detection algorithm. He still can't explain how it works. And the worst part, they planned for our daughter too. It makes him look grounded, his dad said. Founders with families look more stable. Investors trust them. So yeah, apparently I was a fucking narrative device. Not a co-founder, not a fiancé, not a woman he loved. Just a prop for pitch decks and PR. I don't even remember closing the laptop. Just that I sat there, staring at the baby for like 15 minutes, trying not to scream. The next morning, I didn't confront him. I couldn't. Not yet. I was still shaking when I got up. But I knew one thing. This wasn't going to be a screaming match. This wasn't going to be me throwing plates and crying while he spun some bullshit about misunderstanding. Oh no. This was going to be methodical. Because now he had no idea I knew. And that's a goddamn advantage. I called a lawyer first. Shout out to Michelle, my cousin's wife. Corporate law demon. Wears red lipstick and metaphorically eats men like Ryan for breakfast. Next, I logged into our Notion and began backing up everything. Every doc I wrote, every prototype commit, every calendar receipt from investor calls I ran solo while he played Overwatch. I screenshot Slack convos. I downloaded the cap table history. Oh, and I exported our baby's medical records plus every message where he agreed I'd be the primary parent because my schedule's more flexible. Because when I was done with him, he wasn't just losing me. He was losing everything. That night, he got home late. Smelled like whiskey and smug entitlement. Kissed me on the forehead like I didn't just hear him plan my erasure like a fucking corporate restructure. I played along. Laughed at his stupid jokes. Told him I was thinking of taking a momcation next week to recharge. He said, great idea, babe. You deserve it. I bet I fucking do. Inside, though, I was already halfway gone. I just needed one more thing leverage. Public leverage. So I texted a friend at TechCrunch. Told her I had a story. And she said, girl, tell me everything. Last Friday, mocation begins. So I packed a bag. Just enough to be believable. Told Ryan I needed a weekend to decompress. Baby was staying with me, obviously. He offered to send his assistant to book a spa. I smiled and said, "Don't worry, I got it." Then I took our daughter, left the city, and checked into a little Airbnb 2 towns over. Not glamorous, just quiet. Had Wi-Fi privacy and a solid coffee maker. That's all I needed. Because I wasn't there to relax, I was there to build the fucking case. And oh, I built it. While my baby napped, I wrote, compiled, dated, organized, created a shareable folder named Legal Prep. Urgent, I know, cold. But at that point, my brain had flipped. I wasn't heartbroken. I was pissed, focused, calculated. He thinks I'll break down, that I'll beg, cry, shatter. Nah, baby, I document, I protect, I strike. That night, I sent a quick, all good love you text to Ryan just to keep up appearances. He replied with a thumbs up and a kiss emoji. God, the audacity. Saturday, the real talks begin. I called Michelle again, the lawyer cousin-in-law. She cleared her weekend for me. Over 3 hours and 2 oat milk lattes we went through. Prenup drafts we hadn't signed yet, thank God. Company docs co-founder vesting schedule IP clauses. Parental agreements, none formal yet double win. The call recording. She asked if I had proof that he knew the conversation was private. I said nope, but he never hung up the call. I have the Zoom log. She nodded. It's not illegal to listen if he left the door open, especially if you're a stakeholder. That's the moment I knew he was done. Sunday morning, scripting the fallout. I typed out the email to our board. Didn't send it yet, just drafted it. Included the Zoom transcript, my contributions, screenshots from Slack, and a calm breakdown of Ryan's personal conduct, unbecoming of a CEO and how it could endanger investor confidence. I didn't name call, didn't cry, just facts. Labeled, time-stamped, legally fireproof. He planned to marry me for PR, use the baby as a narrative, then dump me once the Series C cleared. And he put all that in a live call. You do the math. My hands were trembling the whole time, but not from fear, from adrenaline. I wanted him to feel small, not because I was vengeful, because I was done being erased. Monday. The face-off. I drove back Monday evening. My daughter slept through the ride like an angel. I pulled into our driveway like nothing happened. Ryan was already home, music on wine poured. "Babe, welcome back," he smiled. I fake smiled back. My mouth said, "Missed you." My brain said, "You're fucked." He kissed me, like he owned me. Like he'd won something. He poured me a glass, asked how the spa was. I lied. Told him it was great. He talked about our next board meeting, how we'd pitch the next round together. Asked if I'd wear that navy dress that the investors loved. And I realized something. He thought I was still in it. That I was going to play my role again. So I asked, "Do you actually love me?" His eyes blinked, just a beat too long. Then he chuckled. "Of course I do." "Of course you do. Of course you do, when I'm useful. When I'm photogenic. When I talk nice in interviews. When I raise your fucking valuation." I nodded. "Cool," I said. That's all. I didn't push it, because the show wasn't over yet. Tuesday. The email goes out at 7:03 a.m. I hit send. Subject line, requesting emergency governance review. Confidential. CC'd our board chair legal rep and our major investor contact. Attached everything. The call. The doc trail. My statement. I signed it co-founder and chief product architect. By 7:45, I got the first reply. Review meeting scheduled. Please remain discreet until further notice. At 9:12, Ryan called me. I ignored it. At 9:19, he called again. At 9:31, I got a Slack ping. WTF is going on? I didn't reply. Noon, the storm hits. He finally found me in the kitchen, face pale, sweating, hair a mess. Not the golden boy anymore. "What the hell did you do?" he asked. I tilted my head, calm, measured. I sent them the truth. "You're blowing up the company." "No, I cut him off. You did that." "I'm just making sure the explosion has context." He started pacing. "You recorded me without consent." "No. You forgot to mute yourself. That's not on me." He tried to switch tactics, told me this could ruin his relationship with his dad. I almost laughed. "Oh, the man who coached you on how to exploit me and our kid, that dad." He shut up real fast. Later that evening, final straw. He came back around 7 p.m. After getting torn apart in a board call. I wasn't invited to that one. He walked in like a different person. Hollow. Tired. He said, "You didn't have to go nuclear." I said, "You didn't have to lie to me for a year." Silence. Then he actually tried to cry. Said he still loved me, that he only said those things to impress his dad, that he was just scared of commitment, of losing control, blah, blah, blah. I let him talk, let him stumble over his own excuses. When he was done, I just said, "You should have thought about that before you tried to make me your marketing campaign." He flinched like I slapped him. Good. Wednesday. The custody paperwork, filed for sole custody. Michelle handled everything. Used his own words, she'll handle the baby, her schedule's more flexible as Exhibit A. I also updated my will just in case, removed his name from emergency contacts, blocked him on personal email. When he showed up at my parents' place where I moved temporarily, I didn't even come to the door. My dad did. Ryan begged to see me. Said we could work things out. Said he'd walk away from the company if it meant keeping me and the baby. Too late, way too late. He didn't love us. He loved being seen with us. Big difference. Thursday morning, the final message. He sent a long-ass text, apologizing again. Said he'd give me his shares. Said he'd walk away. Said he'd split his inheritance with me when his dad passed, as if I was waiting in line for old money. I didn't reply. I just blocked him. Because you know what? I'm not here for his redemption arc. I'm not here to mother him too. I'm here to raise my daughter, run my damn company, and sleep through the night, knowing no one's gaming me anymore. The next few days, quiet chaos. Like watching a storm rage from inside a soundproof room. Everything was on fire, but I was finally calm. The board met. Twice. No one looped me in directly, but I heard from Michelle that my documents were airtight. Ryan's behavior violated our operating agreement's good faith clause. They started internal reviews. Legal pinged me for access to chat archives and backup files. And get this, some of our angel investors started emailing me directly, not him. Subject lines like, "Hey, we were unaware of the personal conflict but would like to hear your perspective. Let us know how we can support you moving forward." He'd sold himself as the visionary CEO. But now everyone realized the real brain behind our core tech wasn't the guy with the loudest pitch deck. It was the girl he tried to erase. I don't know if poetic justice is real, but I do know what satisfaction looks like. That Monday morning, the company scrubbed his name off the leadership page. No statement, no press release, just a quiet delete. Brutal, elegant, perfect. That same day, my friend Emily at TechCrunch published a piece, "When Founders Weaponize Family." A cautionary tale from inside one startup's implosion. She kept it anonymous, but anyone in our circle knew exactly who it was about. Investors talk. The valley is tiny when it comes to drama. Suddenly, Ryan was radioactive. A few startup bros tried defending him in the comments. He was under pressure. Women exaggerate, blah, blah, blah. But Emily had receipts. I'd given her just enough redacted detail to protect myself legally, while absolutely wrecking his credibility. The article ended with this line: "Some people build companies. Some build stories. Only one survives when the other burns." Yeah, that one hit hard. That same night he texted again, from a burner number this time. Was that article really necessary? My dad's furious. I'm being iced out of my next round. I read it, deleted it, didn't reply. Because I wasn't doing this for revenge anymore. I'd already won that game. Now I was rebuilding, quietly, firmly, fully mine. 3 weeks later, I signed a revised operating agreement. New titles, new responsibilities, more equity. No Ryan. The board agreed to issue a statement clarifying my position as sole executive lead, while citing irreconcilable internal conflict for his departure. It was vague, polite, and absolutely devastating. People asked questions. Some whispered about founder drama. Some tried to get close again like nothing happened. But I knew who stood by me. My lawyer, my parents, my baby girl. And yeah, myself. Because God knows that took the most work. The custody case didn't drag out like I feared. Probably because his parents didn't want more bad press. Or maybe Ryan finally realized the optics weren't worth the fight. He signed over full custody. Just like that. Didn't even ask for visitation. Said he needed space to figure things out. Whatever. I was done offering sympathy to someone who saw me as a business strategy. I didn't even feel sad, just clear. It's wild, isn't it? You can spend years with someone, share a home, build a company, raise a child, and they'll still treat you like a placeholder in their career plan. He once told me, "You're the stability I never had," and I believed him. Turns out, I was just a stability stunt double. A stand-in until he secured enough funding to shed his training wheels. Well, congrats, asshole. You're riding solo now. A month passed, then 2. I moved into a smaller place. Nothing flashy, but it was mine. I hired a part-time nanny so I could start working full hours again. My parents helped when they could. My mom stocked my fridge without asking. My dad installed a new lock. No speeches, no questions, just quiet backup. I kept waking up at 3 a.m. for a while, not from the baby, just my own brain doing its usual reruns. What if I missed something? What if he did love me, just in a messed up way? What if I was too cold, too strategic, too harsh? But you know what? Shut those thoughts up. Seeing my daughter crawl toward the whiteboard in my office, smack her tiny palm against one of the flowcharts, smile like she owned the room. That's the only legacy I care about. Then came the last message. A week after his name officially disappeared from the board records, he emailed me. Subject: no more games, just closure. I shouldn't have read it, but I did. I don't know who I am anymore without the company, without you. I thought I was playing the game everyone expected of me, but I lost the only thing that mattered. I get it now. You were never temporary. You were the core. I'm sorry for everything. You don't owe me anything. I just wanted you to know. I never deserved you. I stared at that line for a long time. You'd think I'd feel vindicated, right? I didn't. I felt nothing. And maybe that's growth. Maybe that's power. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Because closure isn't something you ask for in an email. It's something you build, day by day, choice by choice. And I'd built mine out of steel. Last week I gave a talk at a Women in Tech panel. Topic: what it really means to lead. I told the audience this: leadership isn't just titles or rounds closed. It's who you are when the people closest to you try to rewrite your worth. It's saying no to being supporting cast in your own damn life. They clapped. Some nodded too hard. One woman in the front wiped her eyes. And I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Look, I'm not going to wrap this up with some everything happens for a reason crap. Some things just suck. Some people just lie. Some wounds don't get poetic endings. But I will say this. I'm no one's placeholder, no one's step on the ladder. I built something real. And when someone tried to hijack it, I took it back. Not with screaming, not with drama. With proof, with power, with purpose. And yeah, maybe with a little pettiness too, but fuck it. Fuck it, I earned that. It's been 6 months now. And honestly, I didn't think I'd ever feel this steady. Not happy, not yet, but calm, in control, grounded, which after the last year feels like fucking magic. People assume that once the drama ends, everything resets. Like once the ex is gone, the company's yours, and the legal stuff is over, you go back to being you. But here's what no one tells you: there is no going back. Because the version of me who loved Ryan, the me who softened every red flag, who excused every micro-manipulation, who made herself smaller just to keep peace, she's gone. And thank God for that. The company's doing better than ever. We've stabilized post-drama, onboarded new engineers, launched 2 updates ahead of schedule, and brought on an interim COO to help scale. The board fully on my side now. Investors who were iffy before are now doubling down. Founders with grit, they say. Resilient leadership. Ha! Funny how quickly they forget the man they once called a visionary. But you know what's really changed? The tone. I'm not constantly being second-guessed in meetings anymore. No more passive-aggressive. Are you sure we're ready for that feature? Or maybe Ryan should lead that client pitch. Now when I speak, they listen. When I say we're shipping next week, no one double-checks. It's not just respect, it's ownership. Because when you survive betrayal, this personal, this calculating, you stop waiting for someone to validate your seat at the table. You build the fucking table. Of course not everything's polished. I still get triggered sometimes. Like last month when I opened an old notebook and found a list Ryan wrote titled Story Angles for Parenting PR. My name was there, so was our daughter's, next to phrases like family first brand and disrupting motherhood stigma. It was a content calendar for my fucking life. I threw the whole notebook into the trash, then I cried. Hard. Because even though I've won moments like that remind me just how deeply he tried to orchestrate my reality. But I let myself feel it, all of it, because that's the work now, not revenge, not proof, just processing. Therapy helps. Yeah, I started going. Best decision I've made besides dumping his sorry ass. My therapist Jordan doesn't sugarcoat SHT. She listens, then hands me a verbal scalpel and says, okay, let's dissect that. We talk about control identity trust. About how being used doesn't mean I was stupid, it means I was kind, hopeful, human. She asked me last week, do you think you miss him? Or just the idea of him? And that question broke me for a minute. Because yeah, I missed the version of him I believed in. The one who stayed up late brainstorming with me. Who made pancakes when I had morning sickness. Who kissed my forehead before every investor pitch. But that version wasn't real. He was a script. And I was cast as the audience. The hardest part. Trying to imagine explaining all this to my daughter one day. What do I say? Your dad used us for leverage, but also maybe loved you in his own broken way. Mom left because she had to protect your future from a man who saw people as pawns. I don't know, but I do know this: when that day comes, she'll see a mom who chose herself. Not out of anger, not to punish, but because sometimes walking away is how you teach love the loudest. Every now and then, I still hear about Ryan. Apparently, he tried launching a new startup. Some AI bro dating app called Affinity. Don't even get me started. Last I heard, it folded after 3 months. No traction, bad UX, and he blew half the angel money on marketing, read Instagram influencers and crypto sponsorships. I didn't laugh when I found out. Okay, I did, a little. But mostly I just felt nothing. Like watching a stranger trip on a sidewalk across the street. Mild surprise. No real concern. That's the weird thing about detachment. It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It's just still. My parents keep asking if I've started dating again. I haven't. Not because I'm jaded, okay, maybe a little, but because I'm not ready to be someone's something right now. I'm finally getting to be just me. Not someone's girlfriend, not someone's co-founder, not someone's liability or token or plan. Just me, messy, loud, over-caffeinated, unapologetically maternal and sharp as hell. That's the woman I'm falling back in love with. A few weeks ago, I was speaking at a university panel when a girl, maybe 22, pink hair eyes full of fire, came up afterward and said, "Your story." That's why I changed majors. I'm tired of men taking credit for what we build. I almost cried, right there in my boots and blazer, because she got it. Not just the betrayal, the reclaiming. The quiet, stubborn, burning decision to keep going even when the world tells you to shrink. I get asked sometimes if I regret any of it. The relationship, the baby, the co-founder dynamic, the long nights, the public fallout. And it's weird, because the logical answer is yes. Who wants to be humiliated, betrayed, publicly entangled with a manipulative man? But the real answer, no. Because without all of it, I wouldn't have become this version of me. The one who doesn't flinch when men interrupt. The one who rewrites cap tables and headlines with the same clarity. The one who holds her baby in one arm and her legacy in the other and says, "Try me." The old me wanted closure. This me. She doesn't need it. She is the closure. I still save all my old calendar reminders, even the ones from when Ryan and I were planning our wedding. Dress fitting, engagement, shoot cake, tasting at 4 p.m. I keep them in a folder called What Could Have Been. Not because I'm sentimental, because they remind me what I survived. They remind me that even when people try to script your life, you can flip the script. Burn the narrative, keep the pen. You ever feel that? That moment when the ache stops echoing. It's not loud. It's not triumphant. It's just gone. That's where I am now. And fuck, it feels good. It took a while, but I stopped waiting for the other shoe to drop. You know what I mean? That reflex, where you're so used to betrayal, that stability feels suspicious. Like peace must be a trick, and someone somewhere is just prepping the next gut punch. Yeah, that faded. Not overnight. Not after some cliché healing moment, but gradually. Like one day I realized I didn't check my email with my heart in my throat. Or reread every Slack message, trying to decode condescension. Or wake up replaying his voice in my head. Just normal mornings, coffee, baby babble, a team that respected me, clients that stayed, silence that didn't scream anymore. It was fucking bliss. The house is quieter now. Not empty, just peaceful. There's no fake laughter in the kitchen, no forced date night energy, no tension when I open my laptop after 8 p.m. Just me and my daughter, our routines, our safe, silly, sometimes chaotic little world. She's walking now, by the way. Little baby tornado on 2 feet. She's got this wobbly confidence, like she doesn't even realize she could fall. And when she stumbles, she laughs. Not cries, laughs. I wish I'd learned that sooner. Work's shifted too. I still run the company, but I'm not trying to prove anything anymore. Not to investors, not to the board, and sure as hell, not to him. I used to chase every benchmark like it was life or death. Revenue goals, press mentions, founder visibility. Now I care more about product quality, team morale, sustainability. Because let's be real. What's the point of building something powerful if it breaks you? So yeah, we hit our numbers. We're growing. But I'm not bleeding for it anymore. I don't skip lunch. I don't cancel therapy. And I don't let anyone, not clients, not board members, not junior dev bros, talk over me in meetings. You talk over me, you get one look. And trust me, they learn. Okay, so let's talk about dating. Because yes, I finally dipped a toe in. After way too many pep talks from friends and one unsolicited Bumble profile made by my sister thanks Karen. At first, I wasn't even sure what I was looking for. I wasn't lonely. I had enough on my plate. But I missed connection, flirting, touch. The weirdly intimate way someone notices how you take your coffee. So I met a few guys. Coffee dates, happy hours, one really awkward walk in the park where the guy kept calling me girl boss, and I almost faked a work emergency to escape. But then there was Marcus. And listen, I'm not saying he's the one. That's not where this is going. But he's good, kind, present. The first time I told him about the company and the Ryan mess, he didn't flinch. Didn't offer empty advice. Just listened. Said, damn, that must have hurt like hell. And that was it. No savior complex, no pity, just space. We've been seeing each other for about 6 weeks now. No pressure, no plans. Just real conversations, a couple stolen weekends, and the occasional kiss that makes my brain short-circuit. It's new, it's tentative, but it's honest. And right now, that's enough. You know what's wild? Some of Ryan's old friends have started reaching out again. I didn't know the whole story. Wish I'd stood up for you. Didn't realize how bad it got. And look, I get it. People don't want to pick sides, especially when the guy used to sign their checks or host their Super Bowl parties. But I don't need apologies from people who stayed quiet while I got steamrolled. I don't want performative remorse 6 months later. What I want boundaries. So I reply once, politely, and then I move on. Because forgiveness isn't an invite. It's a closure I give myself. Sometimes people ask if I'll ever let Ryan back into our daughter's life. That's a tough one. Legally, he signed over parental rights, no visitation, no involvement. Just a name on a birth certificate and a long trail of missed opportunities. But emotionally, I'm torn. Part of me wants her to grow up without the shadow of his SHT, to never feel disposable like I did, to be raised in a home where love isn't conditional or strategic or performative. But another part of me knows she might want to know him someday, ask questions, build her own version of the truth. And when that day comes, I won't lie to her, but I also won't poison the well. She deserves context, not hate. She deserves the full story. Told by a mom who healed, not a woman who bled. So yeah, I'm still figuring that out. And that's okay. A couple of weeks ago, I stumbled on an old folder on my desktop wedding ideas. It had dress styles, venue links, a Pinterest board full of champagne palettes and dried florals. And I just stared at it for a second, not angry, not bitter, just amazed at how much I used to want that life. The ring, the photos, the whole power couple image. And now, I don't want a perfect wedding. I want a solid relationship, a safe house, a quiet mind. A man who doesn't need to broadcast his love to validate it. If marriage ever happens again, cool. But it won't be the finish line. It'll be the bonus. The other day I had a little win. Nothing huge, just a product update we'd been testing finally passed QA. One of our junior devs pinged me in Slack. Thanks for pushing this. It's cleaner, smarter, and it actually solves the user's problem. You nailed it. I smiled like a lunatic at my screen. Not because of the praise, but because, for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was doing the thing I was meant to do. Without compromise, without fear, without someone trying to claim my shine. Just me, doing the work, and being seen for it. That S-chat hits different. Sometimes I think about who I was a year ago. Pregnant, tired, still convincing myself that love meant sacrifice, that if I just held on a little longer, he'd show up the way I needed. I want to go back and hug that girl. Tell her she's not crazy, not dramatic. Tell her she's about to lose everything and come out more whole than she's ever been. Tell her she's stronger than she knows. And one day soon, she'll walk into a room and not flinch at the word co-founder. She'll say it. She'll own it. And no one will be able to take it from her again. There's still work to do. Healing isn't a milestone. It's maintenance. I still get waves of grief, flashbacks to the call, anger that I missed the signs, frustration that I let myself get so small. But those moments pass faster now. I don't live in them. I just visit. And each time I come back a little lighter. People say revenge is sweet, but honestly, peace is sweeter. Because it doesn't keep you up at night. It doesn't need to be flaunted or proved. It just is. Like breathing, like laughing, like watching your baby sleep, knowing she'll never have to unlearn the idea that love is conditional. I fought for that peace. And I'll protect it with everything I've got.